I don't think we really need an intro.
Do you know?
No,
I think we could do the little one. Oh, let me give it a go. Hold on. Hello and welcome to MAMOM Does. Let's try something new. On the first episode of this new series, we're trying healthy living.
Healthy living, Mike. Trying to think how to get into this. Just spitballing at the moment.
That's fine. Well, let's just go straight into it. So we're doing MAMOM Does Healthy Living. Just interesting. We decided to do this, didn't we, like 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Because you've already sort of started a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, kind of. I've changed my diet, is a big thing.
And you're doing more exercise, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you sort of wanted to get into it, I guess, a bit more, didn't you? And thought this would be a good way to document it and stuff like that.
Sort of like, it forced me to do it knowing that people listen to this, and people that listen to this might be of the same sort of lifestyle as us, for example. So it might sort of encourage them, hopefully, as well. And yeah, I thought it'd be a nice thing to do. But we aim to do it in a bit of a light-hearted manner as well. Obviously, we're going to take it seriously, everything we're going to do. But I think if we took it too seriously, it'd bore people to tears, especially if they come on for the MAMOM brand. So yeah, we'll take a bit of a sort of jokey, humorous side to it all. But we are actually going to be attempting to do everything that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, I've got 3 questions then. I think that would be good for both of us to answer.
Okay.
So the first one is, obviously this is MAMOM Does Healthy Living. So what is healthy living to you? Because I think this is important, because some people, healthy living is like climbing mountains every day and eating nothing but chia seeds. Whereas like, to me, that'll never be realistic.
Yeah.
So what's healthy living to you?
I think getting to the point in my life where I'm of a better weight, and I'm able to. The big thing for me is, as listeners of the podcast know, relatively recently got a son, and I want to be the point like when he's old enough to run around in the park, I won't be just like sort of 2 minutes in, be out of breath. I want to be able to keep up that active lifestyle and be able to play with my kid in the park and stuff like that. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yep. That's as fair things go. I like it.
How about you?
For me, this is a big thing because I hate diets. I've never been on a diet myself, but my sister and mother have been on diets. It feels like most of my sort of like, from like the age of 15 onwards, they've always been on and off them.
Yeah.
And my fiance as well as, since we took over, she was on Slimming World, then she was on Weight Watchers, then she was on Slim Fast.
I heard of Slim Fast.
I think that's one where you replace like a meal with a milkshake sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Did you mean Slim Fast?
That's what I said, wasn't it?
You said Slim Fast.
Oh, is it Slim Fast?
I'm being a dick.
I was about to say, I was like, I literally didn't. No, but I know so little about it. I was like, you're probably right.
I'm mocking the fact that you say fast and I say fast.
Oh, right. So I've always hated them because I think they're unsustainable. You know, a lot of people lose weight that way, then put it back on. And I also don't like the theory behind it. It's like Slim Fast, for instance, right? Like, I don't know if it still is, but when Shauna was doing it, ham was like 0 points or 0 sins, right? So it meant that in theory, you could eat your body weight in ham every day.
Yeah. This is what annoyed me about Slimming World, so I think you might be on about Slimming World.
Oh, yeah, I think about Slimming World, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the thing is that, A, I don't think that's realistic, and I don't feel like that would work. And B, even if it did, that's not healthy for your body. Do you know what I mean? If you were just to live on processed ham from Asda, you might lose weight, but you are not going to have a healthy body.
That's the thing. There's a difference between losing weight and being healthy. You could eat absolutely nothing and lose weight, but obviously that's not good for your body.
No, exactly. So for me, well, I'll come back to that. So healthy living is something to me that's sustainable and is healthy.
Yeah.
As in terms of for your body.
Yeah.
Question 2.
Mm-hmm.
What's your experience with healthy living in the past? So like I've given some examples of what Shauna did, I guess. And what's your relationship to food like? So I always think that's interesting to talk to people about. So start the first one. What's your experience with healthy living in the past?
In the past, I wouldn't say I've tried diets, but I've tried various different things.
Mm-hmm.
And just none of them work, mainly because it potentially could stem down to just a bad day at work or something. And then all of a sudden, back to normal, back to square one, eating the bad stuff again. I don't know where my sort of like. I'd say I have a love of food, but I also have a love of crap food as well. Like, I won't necessarily eat good crap food. If that makes sense. I'm not really sure where that sort of stems from, but it's something that I am attempting to move. Well, have actually attempted to move away from, and mostly been successful at so far.
And what's your relationship to food?
How do you mean?
So, like, I think everyone's relationship with food is a little bit different in terms of, like, some people stress eat, some people...
I'd say I eat badly out of ease, and if that makes sense. So, coming home late... So I work shifts, so coming home late from work or stuff like that, it's just easier to eat badly than it is to prepare a good, decent meal.
Yeah.
So I think it's always stemmed from that, because I used to work in a pub, and I used to get dinner for quite cheap there. So I'd eat the crap food at a Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
And then I used to work both in the pub and work in the laboratory. So doing two jobs.
You literally had no time.
No time to do it. And I used to live in a accommodation that was really, really crap. So I didn't like sort of cooking in there. And I'd always eat out.
Was it a shared kitchen as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it was, because it's actually quite interesting. So we were these people called, I can't actually remember our names now. I feel that began with G. But either way, what it was, say there was a derelict building that the council eventually wanted back and was still owned by the council, but they didn't want squatters moving in. So they hired us. We were called guardians, that was it. So they hired us as guardians. I say hired. We could rent the property, or a room in the property, and live there for dirt cheap, and I'm talking dirt cheap. Like sort of like £40 a month or something stupid like that.
Jesus.
And the idea was to stop squatters from moving in.
Did that cover your electric as well as your rent?
Yeah.
Electric, water. What about internet? You have to buy your own internet.
You didn't get internet.
Right, and you couldn't have it.
No, you couldn't have it either. So yeah, but water and electric was included, but it was like a shared shower. But the accommodation I was in was an old person's home, a care home, and it was this big sort of kitchen in there, but I used to hate being in there because it was awful. I used to hate showering there. It was horrendous. Like, it was not a nice place, and I probably spent more money because of it, because I didn't like being there, so I constantly ate out. So I'd say that's where it probably all stems from.
I think mine is similar to... I think ours is both very similar. People into uni. I had a pretty healthy lifestyle before university. My mum cooked fairly healthy foods. We didn't really have many takeaways. I did pretty regular exercise. And then I went to uni, and I'd never cooked before, really, other than school. So all of a sudden, everything you buy is cheap and convenient. You know, frozen pizzas, things like that. Things you can just chuck in the oven. It's quick, it's easy, and it's cheap. And then afterwards, like for instance, when I moved in with Sean, I think this is where my relationship to food is. My relationship to food is if people cook me healthy food and put it in front of me every day, that's all I'd eat. And if there's no snacks in the house, I wouldn't eat any. But if things are there, out of laziness, I guess, I eat what's in front of me.
Exactly.
So if it's there, I'll have it. So that leads on to question 3 for healthy living, which I guess is going to be the main part of the episode. What is your plan?
My plan is, I plan on attempting, even though we talked about that at the beginning, but changing my diet.
Yeah. But
actually doing it properly, not just going on a fad or anything like that. Actually coming up with my own sort of diet that works well for me. I plan on also doing a lot more sort of like exercise. So I'm in the sort of starting stages of joining a gym.
Nice.
How about you?
This is interesting because when we decided to do this, because you sort of mentioned it because you were sort of already starting, weren't you? Going on a lot of walks with your child, and you were starting to eat a bit better. But I think you wanted to sort of up it, and like you said, use this as a way to keep you on track.
Motivation,
whereas for me, whereas for me, I'd thought about I'd wanted to already before you mentioned it, but I'd not actually come up with a plan, and then I forgot about it. And me and Shauna were she was scrolling through Instagram, and I saw this like video that's looked really interesting, and I mentioned it to her, and she told me, and I googled it, and we ended up buying the book that night, going through it the next day, and we're doing our first one of it tomorrow.
Okay.
So I saw this guy basically on Instagram who's lost a load of weight but kept it off for 18 years.
Nice.
And he said he's maintained the same weight the whole 18 years. And a bit similar to us, you know, he ate shit food, bit of a scoffer if it was there, just because it was there sort of thing. Basically convenience. He ate shit food because it was easy.
Yeah.
So what he decided to do was something he did a lot of research into science behind it, and that was meal prepping. Now I know you've done it before with Lauren, and you gave us a book, and I hated it. I thought the food was grim that we picked, and I don't know, it wasn't great. Whereas this one, he said this is like a lifestyle change. It's not a diet. The word diet's not used anywhere.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Lifestyle change.
Yeah, and it's essentially two things. One is about meal prepping.
Yeah.
And the idea is you then have no cooking and cleaning to do in the week, which can be a massive drain, can't it?
Yeah, it can, especially when you get home from work.
Exactly. And that's when it's easy then to get a takeaway. Because you not only do you have to cook, there's no clean up really, is there? You just put the box it comes in the bin sort of thing, generally. Yeah. It ends up being cheaper. It ends up being less food waste. And then it's a good way to sort of manage and calculate what you're eating. So the next step of it is calories.
Yeah.
So basically, you have a slight calorie deficit to lose weight, and then once you get to your goal weight, you then up your calories to your allowed intake. And the food is really nice. It's nothing gross or anything like that. Like some of them are like, one of them's like dirty fries, which looks amazing. And that is what we're going to be trying. So we've gone. Well, I say we. Sean has gone to Aldi tonight and bought everything for the first week.
Yeah.
And that includes breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack each day. And then we've calculated the calories because some days there's actually less calories than we're allowed, so we could actually have other things as well. So it's not like you can't have anything nice again. And what was nice is he does like a FAQ, and he's like, what if... what if you go out for a meal? And he's like, look, I'm not going to count my calories if I go out for a meal with family. Like, you've got to live your life at the end of the day. But it's about, on the whole, that you're trying to be healthy. On the whole, you're trying to be good.
Yeah.
And the book is called The Meal Prep King Plan by John Clark. And I believe on Instagram he does a lot of...
Not a paid sponsorship.
It's not at all.
No.
But you're going to feel like it is, because I feel like I'm really going to be into
You're
it.
going to be plugging it.
Yeah, I just again, I've always hated that idea because I don't, diets are things that I think people lose weight, then they go back to their old habits and put all the weight back on. Sometimes even more.
I think that's a key word that we need to stick hold of: a lifestyle change.
Yeah, and that's what I've always thought when people tell me like, oh, I'm going on a diet. I'm like, oh, I don't know if eating just eggs and oranges for a year is really going to work.
No.
So do you want to hear an example of one of our one of our days will look like?
One of the meals that you picked.
So this is one day of one of the weeks. So do you want Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday?
Let's hear Friday.
So Friday, I'm going to be having a banana and blueberry miniature loaf for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
For lunch, I'm going to be having a super green soup.
Mm-hmm.
For dinner, I'm going to be having jacket potato with pork and barbecue beans.
Nice.
And for my snack, it is smoky paprika popcorn, which sounds cool.
That all sounds very nice.
Yeah, and the idea, I think, is for me, that would be easier is, even if I'm not massively feeling it that day, because I think everyone's done that as well. You buy healthy meals all week, then you get to Thursday, and we're like, what's for tea tonight? Oh, we're going to be having broccoli and lentils. And you're like, kill me now. No, I've had a shit day. I do not want that. Let's get a takeaway. Whereas there's no excuse because the food will be in the fridge ready to eat. So it'll actually be easier just to eat that than it will be to order a takeaway and spend all that money on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm hoping that this will be something that we keep sort of forever, is the idea, not just to lose a little bit of weight before the wedding sort of thing.
Yeah. I can't remember why we moved away from meal prep, because me and Lauren were doing it quite a lot, but somehow just stopped doing it, and I think we just hadn't obviously got enough into the mindset of it at the point. But so the thing that I'm doing a lot of, I believe it's the Atkins diet is what does it, but I'm doing it more without any diet in mind, is I'm sort of like trying to cut out a lot of carbs from my diet.
Oh yeah, there's keto is the...
Is it keto?
Keto, yeah.
That's the one. So that's something that I'm attempting to do. So obviously there's carbs in quite a lot of things, but I've moved away. So say, for example, bread, I've just attempting to only have brown bread and like brown pasta, brown rice, and it's all to do with like complex carbohydrates. And I'm not sure which way around it is. I'm not going to even pretend to sort of get it, but in the carbohydrates in sort of like wholemeal products is far better for you than it is in just like wheat. So that's what I'm attempting to do. And it's working so far. The weight is very slowly coming off.
But then that's better, I think, to have a slow and steady process.
And it's a change that's quite easy to do because, like, if we have a pasta dish, I'll just have brown pasta. Like, it's a lot easier to be doing it. So slowly, like, I might change and do other things into the diet or lifestyle change. But that's a big one for me because I definitely eat too many carbs or used to eat too many carbs.
Nice. And are you tracking anything? You have to me. So, like, for instance, then, so the plan for me is very clear because I'm following this book I've bought.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a complete food diet change. And I'm hoping that'll kickstart me into exercise as well. At the minute, I'm on my summer holidays, which I know sounds like it should be the easiest. But what I don't want to do is sign up for a gym, dead easy because I'm off, and then get back to work. Yeah, so what I want to try and do is join the gym when I'm back at work and try and actually work out how I'll fit it around my actual life.
Smart.
So I'm hoping that by starting with a few, 3-4 weeks on this diet, lifestyle change, this new way of eating, that'll encourage me to go to the gym because I'm like, I'm losing weight through the lack of, through the food, and I'm feeling better. Because this is the other thing as well. It's not just let's cut all carbs out and all chocolate out and all sugars out, like some extreme diets are.
Yeah.
This is like, you still get a balance of everything.
Yeah.
You still have some carbs, some sugars, but it's about, having a healthy balance of all the food groups in the right amounts.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'll just feel better, and then that will sort of push me.
That's it. It's also about feeling better because sometimes I feel like, God, I'm really unhealthy. I physically don't feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it can do. Especially, sometimes for takeaway, and afterwards you feel shit. Like, I would get it with takeaway pizza when you wake up in the middle of the night, like...
Just mouth just feels so, what's the word, dry. Because all the salt content. So,
mine's very easy, I guess, to measure. We come back to revisit this. Am I still doing this or not? Have I lost weight? What's my experience been like? What are your sort of then goals going to be? So you're already sort of changing your carbs to healthier carbs.
Yeah.
You're walking more, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. I haven't walked as much lately, but that's because I think my shifts just haven't been right recently, and the weather. But yeah, I have been enjoying going on long walks with my son. It's actually really relaxing. Do you know what? Go on a long walk, stick a podcast in. If you've got a kid, take your kid with you. It's great fun.
Isn't that how Stephen Fry lost loads of weight? Just walking with podcasts. I'm sure he said that he lost like 3, maybe more than 3 stone.
I was going to plug another podcast, but do you know what's a really good podcast to listen to on a walk?
What's that?
The MAMOM podcast.
No way.
Like, they go through top 5 lists like in the first series, and then for season 2 they've sort of mixed it up a bit.
What type of new shows have they got? Because that sounds interesting.
So they've got alongside the top 5, which will be a mainstay, I believe. They're going to have fireside chats in which they just talk the shit. They pick 3 random topics and just discuss to hell with it. They've got MAMOM Does.
Review.
I was going to go with MAMOM Does first.
Okay.
I don't know how you know what they're doing though.
I was just guessing.
Yeah, it's a good guess.
Really weird guess.
In Review is something that they're doing, in which they're like picking the franchise of sort of like a movie franchise and rating and reviewing them out of 5. Like, as each episode, they'll sort of like pick a different film from that franchise and watch it and then review it. They're doing MAMOM Does, in which they sort of do something new, and MAMOM Discovery, in which they teach the other one something new. So yeah, I recommend that podcast for going on walks.
Sounds great, and I've heard the podcast people, the marks are great as well.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I heard one was a dick though.
Yeah, I don't know which one though. I'll leave that for you to decide.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. We just have a quick update about our Patreon. If you're enjoying what we're doing here and want to see our podcast grow, you can support from £1 a month.
Just head on over to www.patreon.com/MAMOM or follow the links on MAMOM's Twitter, Instagram or Facebook.
Thanks. We'll leave you in the capable hands of Mike.
And Mike.
Bye. Plugs away. How are you going to measure yours then, do you think? What's your plan going to be? So the idea is, I think, that we'll come back and do another one of these MAMOM Does Healthy Living Part 2, where we'll talk about how we've been doing, what we found useful. Yeah. So what are you going to be saying?
You know what would be a goal for me to actually set? So weight loss is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got a goal in mind in terms of weight loss,
mm-hmm.
but I am planning on losing weight. What I've done is I've written on a whiteboard on my fridge my sort of like every week, sort of the date, and then I put my weight afterwards, so I can visibly see. But so can everyone else who comes around the house. And it's a bit of a sort of like motivation, because it's like, no, I don't want people to think I'm failing. I want to prove that I'm doing well at this.
Yeah, exactly. So do you have a goal, not a weight as in goal weight overall, but is there a weight you would like to be at by the next time we revisit this in, let's say,
I think so. I'm not going to say what it is. But yeah, I think there is a weight in mind that I'd like to be. And I will say whether I've got to that weight in the episode.
Nice one.
We'll review it. The other thing that, thinking about it, I'd like to do is to run like a 5k or something like that. Never done anything like that in my life. But to know that I'd be able to do that because of the healthy lifestyle change that I've done would be great. I'm currently Googling when 5Ks are.
No, I was just thinking about one of the best ones is Couch to 5K, the app, if you've never used that.
Yeah, app by the NHS.
I remember a girl doing it who I went to school with. I only saw it, it's when we were at uni. We went to different universities, but that's when I still had like social media and I had Facebook at the time. And I remember her being at school, at PE, she was dreadful. I don't mean this horribly. She was like a lovely girl. She like just was one of them that just wasn't that bothered. Didn't really try too hard.
Just didn't give a fuck.
You know, was shocking at running and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of this Couch to 5K thing. And she put it on her Facebook. She said, I'm doing this Couch to 5K, and by this time in 3 months, I want to do a 5K. And I was like, fucking hell. And then she said like she had her first run, and like she couldn't run down the street without stopping. And I was like, she's got no chance. And then anyway, she did it. And then she went on to do a proper marathon and like ran it without stopping once. And I was like, that's insane. All from like this app. So maybe try that.
Maybe I will start doing the Couch to 5K. In fact, you know what? I'm going to start that tomorrow.
Nice one.
I've decided that's what I'm going to do. And I will look back at the 8th for the 8th, 2021. I'll try and do a post about it or something.
And, you know, it's good because it literally it starts as if everyone's, you know, never run before sort of thing. So it starts you off gently. It doesn't matter if you stop and walk some parts of it.
Well, I think the whole point of it is you are meant to walk at some points. That's why how it slowly builds you up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's awesome. That.
Yeah. Hello, MAMOM fans. Going on my first Couch to 5K run. Going to release this as maybe a little bit of a video thing at the end, but for the ones listening to the podcast, it's just to let you know that I've actually started it. Just doing a brisk 5-minute walk at the moment. Denise is in my ear telling me all sorts of crap right now. So for those who don't know about the Couch to 5K app, it's done by the NHS, and you can pick a variety of different people like Sarah Millican or Denise Lewis. So I picked Denise Lewis because Olympian. So yeah, wish me luck as I continue on this journey. Okay, so I'm now doing my first run. So what happens in the Couch to 5K is it slowly builds you up to be able to run 5K over the space of 8 to 9 weeks. So you should be able to run 5K 3 times a week is the plan. So I just got to cross a little road. So what you do is build you up. So you do your first run for 60 seconds, I think it is, and then you walk, and then you do that. Repeat that 7 times. Okay, so I've run for my first 60 seconds. Realised I'm very desperately out of shape, but that's why I'm doing this, isn't it? To try and get healthier. So I'm walking for a minute and a half, and then I repeat this 7 times. I'll speak to you at the end of the run and let you know how I got on. Okay, so I'm just over halfway, 15 minutes in. How on earth do the 1 minute 30 walks seem so much quicker than the 1 minute runs? God, I'm out of shape. 2 runs left. God, I think I might be dying. Okay, and I'm done. I've got a few minutes left of my warm down. Annoyingly, my storage is full halfway through recording all that. I've got no idea whereabouts I got to. My headphones stopped working halfway through as well. So, all in all, successful. But I'm glad I do it. I'm exhausted. I've already put a reminder in for tomorrow to do my next sort of little run.
yeah, it's tiring, but I think the benefits will be worth it. If you've not heard of the Couch to 5K NHS app, you're looking for a quick and easy way to crossing the road again. Quick and easy way to not quick and easy, should I say, a helpful way to try and stay active, then I recommend it. Give it a go, and I'll leave you in the capable hands of Mike and Mike again and see where they've got to continue talking about for healthy eating, or healthy living, should I say. I will continue doing these little video vlogs of me running as well. I think it's beneficial for me, and if anyone's looking to do it, hopefully motivation for you. Bye.
Have you got any other goals that you'd like?
The goal is that I'd like to try and be disciplined with the food. Mm-hmm. I don't mind if I have like one day that's a bit of a cheat day maybe at the start to help me get through, but I'm hoping I won't need to because the food will be nice. So yeah. I guess my goal is to be disciplined with the food and to know how it changes, because a big part of it, because it's calorie, will be portion control.
Yeah.
And like the thing that me and Sean are really bad at as well, because this is why I say I think this would be good for me. Like, I talk about my relationship to food. I'm an incredibly quick eater, and I can't like stop it. And luckily, so Sean, or otherwise I'd look like an absolute greedy bastard when we used to go on dates at the start, go for meals and stuff. But she's the same. So sometimes it's like, I'm like, why have we even eaten that rubbish food? Because it's not even like we savoured it and gone, oh, that Domino's was amazing.
The palate or anything.
Yeah, it's like I've eaten it all in 5 minutes. It's gone. I'm like, that might as well have been a bowl of broccoli.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was literally like fuel. Like, oh, I'm hungry. Let's just put this food down me as quick as possible, almost.
I guess so. I really envy those people who just eat for fuel.
Yeah, exactly. It's dead easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, well, I'm hoping that's what this will be. Just, because the food's already prepped and cooked and ready, you just get out and eat it, or warm it up and eat it.
Yeah.
That it will stop me eating shit, because there's no excuse then. Because sometimes it's like, oh, it's easier to just eat this chocolate bar rather than peel an orange, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no excuse because all the food's there ready for you.
Yeah, completely agree. Like I said, when we did it, I know you didn't like the meals necessarily, but we did do well with it. So I think it is a good thing. If you can actually do it properly, I think if you got a kid, it's a lot harder. But if you can do it properly, it's definitely worth doing.
Yeah, 100%. So hopefully then, in, what should we say, about a month?
Yeah.
We'll do a revisited of it. So that's the thing that these MAMOM Does will be, is there'll be, I guess some of them will be one-offs, but often they'll be in parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and it might be that we've recorded all 4 parts in one go and we release them one at a time. Or it might be like this, where we've done part 1 and we need to wait a month or 2 before we can do part 2, because it's meant to be the next stage of our journey of what we're doing.
Yeah, so if you're looking for the MAMOM Does stuff, look at the bit afterwards, and we'll put whether it's part 1, part 2, and whatnot. And if you're like coming back to this first time listening, and we've got a few episodes under our belt, and you want to see where we're up to next, have a look for part 2.
Yeah, and I think this would be nice for people listening who potentially as well want to give. And like I say, I don't like using the word diet or even necessarily losing weight. For me, that's the big thing that I want is healthy living. It's not about necessarily me losing weight, although that's an added benefit. It's more about me putting the right shit in my body.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Not fucking up the future for yourself.
Yeah, exactly that.
So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll both do well out of it. I'm hoping that recording this on the podcast and having it for anyone to listen to, and we know friends and family listen to this podcast, that should hopefully motivate us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for some of you potentially who are considering this, it might be nice on part 2 for you guys to listen and go, maybe learn from some of our mistakes and maybe pick up some of the tips that we can hopefully pass along, because what's nice is neither of us are experts, and I think it's better that way sometimes, to listen to people who actually were at 0 building up, rather than people who are already at 100 and telling you how to get there. It's like, I don't trust you. I feel like you've been at 100 your whole life.
Yeah. And if you see us in the street eating a chocolate bar, feel free to come and hit us out of hand. Yeah, exactly. We don't mind. I'll be like, would Mammon approve? That's what you need to say to us. Come and say, would Mammon approve? And if the answer's no, you can slap it out of hands. Yeah. God, can you imagine if someone actually does that? I sort of hope they do. Yeah, me too. Well, that'd be very impressive when we have a podcast that's got no video that they recognise us. Yeah, that's very true as well. Maybe they just recognize, like, you've eaten a bloody chocolate bar in the middle of a podcast episode before now, so maybe they'll just recognise your mastication and go with that. It's like, hold on a second, that sounds like Mike eating a chocolate bar. I've heard that in my ears before.
I still can't believe I ate a chocolate bar. And it wasn't just a chocolate bar, it had caramel in it. It was like the worst thing to eat on a podcast.
It's like proper claggy.
I don't know, maybe some people liked it. Like, is it AMR?
Yeah.
Maybe it was like that for some people.
People really into it. Oh, yeah, well, like I said, it's number 3. And it beat out quite a big film, I'd say, with Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Yeah, definitely held up a rewatch. And I'll tell you something, my kid was fascinated by it. Wouldn't take his eyes off it.
Really?
Yeah. What are you eating?
Oh, chocolate.
Yeah, clearly.
Right, so what we say in about a month's time then we will re-record and repost and post the next part of this and update everyone where we're at.
Yep, sounds good.
So hopefully you look out for part 2 and you can hear how we did. Fingers crossed.
And we'll see you in part 2. We'll also see you next week for whatever we decide to put out next week. I'm not sure in advance what we're going to be doing next week yet.
I think it's MAMOM Discovery.
I think it is MAMOM Discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see you next week for MAMOM Discovery and see you soon for the next episode of MAMOM Does.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Nice. And stop record.